Okay, a dull start to the opening day of the third test between...
Wet start.
A wet start, in fact, to the opening day of the third test between India and Australia at the Border Gavaskar Trophy. Australia 28 for no loss after being asked to bat first by India captain Rohit Sharma, and only 13 overs were possible, and that too just in the first session. Since then, there was no play possible at all, as persistent rain did held up play for the first couple of sessions, but then it didn't really stop. There was a consistent drizzle, and at the end, stumps had to be called. So the latest update that we have for you is that 98 overs are going to be bowled on each of the remaining days, that is day 2, 3, 4, 5, and we are going to have an early start on all the remaining days, that is at about 5:20
5:20. And plus...
Was it just a drizzle?
After that, it was a drizzle.
Yeah.
No
Initially.
way.
It didn't seem like it was a drizzle by what the visuals and the pictures I saw.
I had a word with my source in Brisbane. He was sitting in aisle 420.
LB, little birdie.
Yeah.
I hope he has passes for all 5 days.
He has passes for
then
all the
it's
5
fine.
days.
Before we get to the most important things, I really want to know that I basically called him up today morning to wake him up.
I was up.
Yeah, but
You
he
were
was
up.
up.
I was up.
But
how
then...
how did we manage to wake up at 5 a.m. after a long time? It was very tough for me.
I mean, it was very...
Coffees
I mean,
for that.
It was cold.
Yeah,
You are
it is.
facing the coldest winters now, which are starting in the night time. From yesterday itself, it has started. But that is why you want to wake up to an Australian summer. I mean, when it's Australian summer, it's winters in India. You want to wake up. In those old times, we had extra motivation to listen to Channel
But
9.
didn't it
commentary.
feel like that the BGT actually started today?
No.
Because till now we were waking at 9, 9:30, all the games, sort of starting late. I feel, the essence of a Border Gavaskar Trophy in Australia is waking up at 5 a.m. in your blankets. And yeah, of course, not in the blankets today. Today we did a live before that. But I think the essence of India playing in Australia, Test cricket,
There is a
is
meme
that.
going around now. Like there is a clip from Hera Fairy, and then where Paresh Rawal shows Sunil Shetty the washroom.
Oh, idhar aa.
Yeah. No. And then he's saying, "Chacha, सुबह यही देखने को मिलता है." It was the rain. See, first 6 overs you went through, there was a drizzle which held up play for 20 minutes. But then after that, 7 more overs were bowled, and then you had a downpour.
Yeah.
Then my little birdie that was there at the venue said, we are getting a thunderstorm alert from 1:15 local. And right on cue, you got a thunderstorm alert. There was flash flooding reported. And because of that, unfortunately, you could have no further play. I mean, after the rain reduced in intensity, there was a wet patch at long off. Okay? But then the rain just didn't stop.
When did you end up sleeping again, Gulati sir? Because he though definitely didn't, because he had a PTM to attend. He anyways had to wake
He
up.
reached home way before me, for that matter. I
Yesterday,
reached home
na?
at, I reached home at 12, I think 12:20, 12:35. I think I slept at around 1:15.
Yeah.
I had to wake up at around 5 because I knew that I have to, wake up my
No,
best
no.
friend.
When did you sleep again? Once you you didn't sleep after
Just on a
that.
3.5 hour sleep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same here, for 4.5, 5 hours sleep cycle. But then what to do? I mean, see, the problem is if you are just one day before the 5 a.m. test match, you're always tuned in. Oh, I have to wake up, I have to wake up, I have to wake up. If you miss it, then you are in trouble. So that's why 5:20, but boss, it's only getting better because in Melbourne and Sydney, first day is 4:30 a.m.
4:30 a.m. is the toss.
Toss.
5 a.m. is the first
But then
delivery.
if it's rain, 4:30 a.m. start. If it's rain. You'll have a half an hour start.
Not on the
second
first day, na?
No.
Second day, na?
But
Second day, though, you don't need to.
Still, second day onwards, now even I think what will be the playing conditions is half an hour early start, half an hour extension for the last session.
Exactly.
Okay,
98 overs, yeah.
Now, as far as the weather reports concerned, I had done a proper weather video on all those days. Day 1, I've been proven right. Day 2 and day 3, you are going to see patches of rain, but it won't be like, oh, it won't happen. Play won't happen at all. There is rain forecast on all the 5 days. Day 2 and day 3, the conditions are okay. 68%, 55% chances of rain. 46% in fact of day 2, you're going to have maximum on that
Which
day.
means that, result is still possible if we have most of the majority of the play on day 2 and 3, because if we just go back to the Adelaide test, we needed about 171 odd overs to have a result there. So 160 odd overs maybe enough.
But with this pitch, we'll come to the pitch later. But day 4 and day 5 aren't promising.
You just have day 2 and 3. in your
Yes,
hands.
day 2 and day 3, you have got good chance, but even there are chances of rain. So you will have a stop-start kind of a situation. It won't be as intense as it was today. So on day 2 and day 3, there is interruptions towards afternoon.
Yes.
Yet again. And morning there will be a brief bit, but it won't hold up play for that long. So that's why, unfortunately, rain is going to play a part in Brisbane this time around. Day 4 and day 5 isn't looking promising.
But the drainage system has been absolutely magnificent. Like, after that heavy downpour, it looked like that, we might not...
Your drizzle, your definition of a
yeah,
drizzle.
actually the drizzle was after that, the heavy downpour actually. There was a steady drizzle after that. But the way I think the ground, it really, I think, worked well after that downpour. I think it's absolutely brilliant.
Gaba and Bengaluru have the best drainage systems in the world.
Yeah.
Okay, Bengaluru, because of that subsurface aeration system that is there, sub-air. That is because of that. Even if you get Cherrapunji like levels, Bengaluru, the Chinnaswamy Stadium will be bone dry.
The way it dried up, I think it was something miraculous.
Gaba, what happens is because of the slope that's there, and also because there are pipes underneath also to ensure that it sucks all the water out. That is why Gaba, even if you have a thunderstorm for 5-6 hours, we have a visual. Totally the Gaba was underwater, but you will still start on time then. That's how good the drainage system is. But there was one worrying patch at long off, which I think Kevin Mitchell Jr. and the rest will be like working all night long to ensure that that patch is cleared up. Because I think that patch could hold up play tomorrow also. So that's why we hope that the curator does it. But looking at it, whatever action we had...
Around the square as well, I think it's going to be a little sort of... I don't think that's because of the slope also. I think that water will just dry up very soon and you can get rid of that patch.
Hope so. Hope so. But then we have seen one patch hold up play.
Exactly.
We have seen it in South Africa because what happened in Durban, what happened in Port of Spain. In 2016, it wasn't the whole ground. There was one patch which was so slushy that despite of sunshine, it never dried up. So that's why game was abandoned. Durban, one patch ensured. Sri Lanka, look at so many incidents in India, one patch ensured that you couldn't get play.
India, we have seen now they take the covers off in a wrong way, so the water falls, and then there's this patch. In India, we have seen this a lot of
And in
times.
West Indies, there's 1 day of rain and remaining 4 days, even if there is sunshine, there's no match.
Arre,
2016.
Noida, Vishy sir, how can you forget Noida?
Oh, New Zealand,
Afghanistan.
Oh, yes. But
There was no rain for 2 days straight, and there was sunshine 2 days straight. You had
that
no
one
game.
patch, which they had to totally relay. But then day 4 and day 5, you saw plenty of rain. And that's why, and we are talking about grounds which have good drainage. Noida Stadium doesn't have good drainage. Let's be very honest about it. Because you never saw that much of rain. As a localite, Gulati, I'm sure that end of August, September,
I've never
Delhi
seen
NCR witnessed unprecedented rain.
Absolutely. I think the last time maybe I saw some kind of an unprecedented rain was way back in 2020 during the COVID lockdown. Because I think that was basically in a way nature healing itself also. Because there was no pollution, there hardly any cars on the vehicles on the roads for that matter. I still remember, I think there were a few days also, maybe 2 or 3 odd days in May 2020.
Where there was fog.
Yeah, there was fog, and more importantly, we did not even, switch on the
The
AC.
fan,
ACs
yes,
on the fan also, and
yes.
it was absolutely good. The weather
Yep,
was fine.
It was, I think 2021 if I'm not mistaken.
2020.
2020.
The same year.
Weather was definitely fine, but how is the pitch? Is it how we were
Now
expecting
this
it to
is
be?
where we are going to devote most of the thing because there are 2 schools of thought here. Is Rohit Sharma's decision to bowl first a mistake or are we jumping the gun?
I think we are jumping the gun. Absolutely. You cannot really make, a final call on a decision that an Indian captain or any captain, for that matter, has made just on the basis of 13 odd overs. Had obviously, Australia been 28 for 2 or 28 for 3 after the 13 odd overs, obviously, we would have had a different discussion by praising, Rohit Sharma's captaincy or maybe any of the spell that, the bowlers would have probably bowled had Australia been 28 for 3. But then I think that this sample size is not really enough to judge whether Rohit has made the right call or not. I think there was a lot of pesto or maybe, greenish thing, tinge on the pitch. And Rohit, with all the overcast conditions, I think he absolutely made the right call. So I don't think it's still we can really judge this decision as per what at least I think. Still made the right call. Australia didn't lose any wickets. I think that's a different discussion altogether. Maybe the Indian bowlers, they missed their lengths a bit. They weren't really full than they what probably would have been. Akashdeep, I think, looked the most of the best of the lot for that matter. Although Bumrah was completely economical, but then I think it didn't really look that threatening.
But
maybe
Bumrah's speed,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm really concerned.
128, we
130 is the top that he has touched.
131.
Yeah, 131. I think the quickest was
I think
131.
he's not 100% fit, but India can't afford to drop him. He probably has that shoulder issue.
Also that adductor muscle, remember that cramp that happened.
Yeah.
Are you risking him then for further participation?
No, just for the pitch, I think that I disagree with Gulati sir a little bit. Like I mentioned yesterday as well, I think the grass cover, I think, has been keeping in mind. I think it's just to bind the wicket, but I think underneath the wicket definitely a little wet to start off with, because you saw that sticky bounce. But I think overall, just now that the wicket is going to be under covers for almost 24 hours when the game resumes again tomorrow. But apart from that, I think it was a pretty hard surface. Like, I think it will sort of become hard moving ahead, because the batters did not have any problems. Even Usman Khwaja, McSweeney, I think the most he's played till now in this series, the most number of balls, 33 is played.
No,
No, he played more in the Adelaide Test.
102
first
balls,
innings.
didn't he play for 39
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
first inning?
Yeah, Adelaide first innings. Yeah. So the second most. He's also been looking confident. Bowling, again, if you try to bowl too full on this wicket, I don't think how helpful is that going to be. 13 overs, a very short spell, but I think India should have decided to bat first to begin with. I think they just read too much into it. In fact, it's really surprising the assessment that the Indians made of the pitch yesterday. What Shubman Gill also said, that it's going to be a good wicket to bat on. So was this just to take advantage of that first session or so, first hour or so, and how helpful will that be? I'm not too sure about it, but I think it's going to be a good wicket. And now the problem is that if Australia ends up scoring 300 odd, like Gulati sir has been constantly mentioning, getting to 300 in this series, I think that will be a winning score for any team in whichever innings you end up getting that score. But yeah, now that it's covered, there will be juice to begin with tomorrow. Then the Indian bowlers again have a good opportunity to take those early wickets. And if that has been kept in mind, that it's going to be a start-stop sort of affair in this test match, then I still would have wanted the team to bat first.
I think if Usman Khwaja pulling Mohammad Siraj in the fourth over of the innings, that in itself I think is a maybe an indication that the wicket isn't really that threatening. But then I think, having said that, 13 overs is still a very small sample size to judge whether Rohit Sharma has made the right call or not. So I think a decent start for Australia, but then maybe Indian bowlers maybe could have reworked their length a bit, or maybe tried a different variation or so. But yeah, coming back to Siddharth's point, I think India should be concerned about Jasprit Bumrah. You can't risk him.
Okay, so what I look at it is, see, 13 overs means your almost 1 hour is up.
Correct.
You bowled 1 hour of a session, isn't it? In that period, how many chances were created? You beat the bat, you beat the outside edge. I mean, you negotiated the swing pretty well. Okay, whatever swing was there. If you want to assess the nature of a wicket, you look at the number of chances you create within that 1 hour. Hardly there were any chances created. You say that if you bowl a short ball, you pull the ball to the deep mid-wicket fence and you get going then. Okay, Usman Khwaja did that.
Correct.
So that is an indication of maybe that back of a length isn't working at this stage.
The hard length, basically.
The hard length, okay. Yes. Now, I think the Indian bowlers, as they did in Adelaide, missed their length. They missed their lengths. And I think if you pitched it fuller, I mean, look at what Akashdeep did with the first over, I think, when he bowled to Nathan McSweeney. He got it on a good foolish length, got it to nip back in. The ball just bounced over the stumps, shouldering arms. It would have been a terrible misjudgment from McSweeney. So I think India missed their lengths more rather than the pitch deceiving them at this stage. But if they get deceived, they are not the first one.
But don't you think that just boils down to the fact that India maybe has read the pitch differently, or maybe perhaps wrong, if that's what we are getting to? Because if that was the case, if your lens are wrong, that means you have also read the pitch wrong clearly, and you might have wanted to bat first if you would have read the wicket in a different way. Maybe if Australia would have won the toss, I think they would have batted.
They would have
first.
anyway batted, but then even Cummins stated that he wanted to bowl. Okay,
Yeah.
but anyway, that is
That
all.
you know.
That I mean, I don't buy one word into it, because Cummins has stated the same thing in Oval, that we would have also wanted to bowl, but then it came off as a lottery that they managed to bat well. Now, this is an indication that you don't have confidence in your Indian batting unit. I mean, on this kind of a wicket, they were not up to the mark in facing a Hazelwood, Stark and a Cummins on form like what they've got from Adelaide. Okay, they exploited the lengths well. Boland in particular exploited the lengths well. Cummins exploited the length well when the ball had lost its shine.
Yeah.
Here, this kind of a wicket demands hard lengths and variation of those lengths on a consistent basis.
Did we just mention about Harshit Rana when you said this?
I'm not mentioning, I'm saying a Harshit Rana would have had no impact on this.
Okay.
Because I
Prasidh
think his
Krishna?
confidence was shot.
Prasidh Krishna? Maybe.
I am surprised, see, looking at the two India A test matches. Prasidh got a chance and he did well at Mackay.
And he did well at MCG also.
MCG also.
Yeah.
But you're not going to pick him for any of the test matches.
No, but I think it's down to the quality of bowler you are. Akashdeep has proven his quality. You know that he is that nippy bowler. He can sort of he gets that seam movement as well. So that's why I think it's very clear. Just because you assume that the wicket is going to be a hit the deck sort of a wicket, there's going to be a lot of bounce on that. And I think that's how the Indian team was approaching this test match. I just go back to the practice session yesterday. Yashasvi Jaiswal continuously playing the short pitch deliveries, the deliveries that were attacked to him on his body. I think that is how the Indian team was reading the wicket. So the statement from Shubman Gill, I think that sort of didn't make too much sense.
Signals.
Quite a mixed signal.
Contrasting
there.
signals.
Yeah, because Shubman Gill, maybe he's the right, because what Shubman Gill, Gautam Gambhir and Ajit Agarkar did, I think that was a very casual way of approaching. I don't think that was sort of the reason how you would have approached this test match or how you would sort of pick your team. I think that would have been done a little earlier I think when Rohit would have been there, then I think this decision might have been made. But again, that was a mixed signal for me. And Akashdeep, why I would still stick with Akashdeep is because I know that he is somebody who can switch to plans, you know. Correct. With Harshit Rana and Prasidh Krishna, as soon as you realize that the wicket is not that much juice, then you suddenly need quality bowlers rather than one-dimensional bowlers. So I think in that sense, going with Akashdeep, finally you realize it pretty late. It took 2 test matches to realize this, but I think finally one right call has been made in that
No,
sense.
Harshit did well in Perth. Let's give kudos where it is. He did well in Perth.
Absolutely.
But then in Adelaide, we felt that, okay, if you want to try the same horses for courses approach, why couldn't you have tried Akashdeep then?
Absolutely.
Swinging, it's the same kind of length in that channel outside off stump. You needed it for Adelaide. Nah? That's why Boland came in. For Hazelwood, they didn't get in a Lance Morris who's a hit the deck, if he was available. They got in a like for like who would maintain that channel outside of full length. Hey, Boland. For India, they have used, if you may say in the annals of a gun, they have used a sniper in the wrong place.
Exactly.
Where you need a machine gun.
And Australia could have used Xavier Bartlett also for that matter.
I think Bartlett is injured.
Yeah, he's injured. Okay. It's Matthew. It was Sean. Who were the replacements that they had for the second test? Sean
They had
Abbott and
Bo Webster.
Bo Webster.
He was in play. He was a backup for
Mitchell
Marsh.
Marsh.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's
Webster and
fast
Sean
bowling.
Abbott.
But here, I think the Indian bowlers miss their length. Bumrah isn't going full tilt and that is worrying.
He's not 100%, that's for sure.
So Damien Fleming's words were correct.
Absolutely.
If India are hiding Bumrah's injury and looking at the pace with which he bowled, either he's warming up himself, I don't know. Because see, 4 overs, 3.2 from Akashdeep, then 5 overs from Bumrah. He was not, he looked okay. And there is a viral clip going around also. I'm trying to bowl full, अरे swing ही नहीं हो रहा है. There is no swing. He's saying, chuck it, I'm not going to try much at all.
But I'll just Thought that it was a shortest spell from Bumrah. Bursts I do understand, but he bowled how many? 5 overs, right?
6 overs.
Five,
6 overs he bowled.
6 overs. So I was expecting maybe a 7 over spell to begin with.
But again, see, this is where India have to carefully manage Bumrah's workload. How on earth are you going to ensure that he lasts all 5 tests? Because Gulati is going to do a video soon on the WTC permutations, but if it's a draw, or if India lose 2 more tests, they are done. You're done. Even whatever happens with Sri Lanka, Australia, you're done. So that is why this.
You lose 2 more, including
You
this.
lose 2 more if this is a draw.
Yeah, what makes things interesting is that, and obviously we're going to reveal all of it in the separate video of it. But if this is a draw, then it basically, makes things interesting for both India and Australia.
Yeah, it does. For Australia, less so. But for India, it's trouble.
Yes.
Because they will have to now not slip up in any test match. One loss, then you're gone. If this is a draw.
All but gone.
All but gone. It depends on our neighbors then, Sri Lanka, how they do it. So that's why this test match is very, very important. And the third test will determine who is getting the BGT. If it's Australia or if it's India. The third day of a test match is the moving test. Third day is the moving day. Third test match is the moving test in the series. Correct. So that is why India, I think they had a very conservative approach by opting to bowl first. They should have batted. Because in a tougher situation, you batted in Perth, but then you came back in the contest, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yes, you in Adelaide, you didn't do yourself any favors. Your batters let you down. Rohit, once bitten, twice shy, third time I said, no, I'm not going to expose my batters to this. I'm going to bowl first. So that is the main point where Rohit has said, okay, I have no confidence in my batting unit. I'm going to bowl first. But then his bowlers miss the length. What are you going to do then? So that is why you're in a catch-22 then. So honestly, I think I will wait for day 3. After the end of day 3, whether India were hoodwinked by the conditions, I will take a call then. Otherwise, looking at it, it doesn't seem so. As Gulati pointed out, only 13.2 overs. 1 hour, you didn't gain much.
Exactly.
1 hour of play, you didn't gain much. And tomorrow, we could have my little birdie live on Sports Today also, because he's at the ground. He's got a pass for all the 5 days. He's been in Brisbane for 2 to 3 years now. He couldn't go for any other India games earlier because of COVID and because he was in Hobart.
That will be great.
Yeah.
That guy can make it. Yeah.
Yes. So that is why we can get exclusive inputs from there also. So let's see how it pans out. But today, nothing much to debate. That's why we hate these rain curtain days.
But one thing I think I would really
Before we
like
take the
your,
comments,
your quick opinions on. Is it really that kind of a wicket that we've probably seen in the Australian conditions in the past, flat and bouncy? Just by the looks of it.
Not really. Somewhere I think this has become a bit slower, if I may have to add. Because on day 1, a guy bowling at 135, 140, you can easily pull it. Kind of gives me the vibe that, okay, the grass has been prepared to bind the wicket together, but because you've had a rather wettish build-up to the Brisbane Test match, plus you had 2 to 3 days of sunshine, I think the pitch has gotten slower.
And I also feel that at times, see, again, I feel that the wicket, because it's been covered, it was raining previously yesterday. Yesterday, it wasn't
No,
raining,
it wasn't.
day before yesterday.
The rain started from yesterday evening.
Yeah, yesterday evening. So because it's been covered a lot, so I think just the top surface, at times just the top surface sort of gets wet because it's sweating when the covers are over or when it's covered with the covers. So it just sweats. So I think that's just a very little time where there is some juice on the wicket, but beneath I think it's hard because even Shubman Gill's comment, by the look of it also, that is what I felt. Plus how the wicket is playing now, there was just sticky bounce. It wasn't like it was nipping around, or it wasn't like the ball was stopping, or it wasn't like there was too much bounce. It wasn't like that. It was just very sticky bounce, and eventually it sort of started getting better. So that's why I'm a little skeptical about how the pitch has been assessed by. I think it's more about not having confidence in your batters, because we sitting over here know this fact that it's just about 30-40 minutes, not even the whole session. Shubman Gill himself mentioned that it's going to be a good wicket to bat on. Then just for the 30-40 minutes, I don't know, it's maybe more about sort of not being so So
Sticky bounce, meaning that the pace and nip is not that much then, if it's sticky bounce.
I think if in case of, let's say, if it does turn out to be, maybe, if we, let's just, keep the grass out of the consideration that is obviously there on the pitch. And if it does turn out to be a flat and a bouncy, traditional flat and a bouncy GABA track, I have a feeling that I think it's advantage India, because usually at GABA, the day 2 and 3 are good for batting. And if India can try to, maybe bundle Australia out for a decent enough total, about 250 odd also, I think then India would really be in advantageous position.
No, I think then advantage clearly Australia, because of the bowling attack. Clearly, they have a much stronger bowling attack. Keeping also in mind that Jasprit Bumrah, you don't know how fit he is, how at what percentage he is actually bowling. Plus, I also feel batting conditions, I think because India has many problems with the batting. Australia, as soon as they get such conditions, I think they are people who can sort of, like I mentioned earlier, also they are somebody who can build on to those runs. And because conditions, again, you don't have a spinner. Jadeja, yeah, definitely, but I would have gone with Ashwin, like we talked about this in the pre-match show as well. So if the wicket's going to be flat, I think, like Nikhil sir has also been mentioning since a very long time, I agree with that point, that if it's a flattish wicket, I think clearly advantage Australia.
Okay.
See, I think day 2 and day 3 best conditions for batting, I think it doesn't matter, because now day 1's totally gone.
Exactly.
You're starting afresh from day 2 itself. So with the pitch under covers, with all the sweating that's happened, with the early moisture that's there, maybe day 3 is your best bet.
Exactly.
Maybe day 3. But again, the weather is not promising on day 4 and 5. So that's the way we are looking at it. So when we look at the comments, why so judgmental about Rohit bowling first? Pat
Hardik
wanted same. Haydos also says it. That's what Hardik Desai is saying.
I think it's just the multiple perspectives. Obviously, as even I have said earlier, that 13 overs is still a very small sample size to determine whether it's a good decision or not. But then I think one thing that cannot be negated, as far as maybe something that has been mentioned by Shashwat also, that maybe your batting is not really inspiring that kind of a confidence.
Yeah, I think, see, all of us initially thought that, okay, maybe under the conditions it was right, but then the pitch, I think, hoodwinked most people. That's the thing. And anyway, looking at it, Pat wanted it, Haydos wanted it, Pat also wanted the same thing in the WTC final. What happened?
Yep.
So we don't know at this point in time. King D is saying, this BGT has been totally disappointing after so much hype. 2 one-sided matches, 1 washout. Hope is not very high on remaining, although that washout has still not happened, King D. But yes, Harsha Bogle did mention that, yes, if I have to look at a tennis 5-setter, it was like 6-2, 1-6. Somewhere down the line, it's become that extreme. It's not been like 7-6, 7-6, like a tiebreaker, tense kind of a situation. Which I think the last time it was 2021. Honestly, that was a very, very seesaw affair. But remember, we are not seeing a washout yet. But we are staring at one, because even day 4 and day 5 isn't looking very promising. Exactly. Although, in the weather report I did yesterday, day 5 looked promising. But I think the weather's changed again.
Yeah.
Which is why.
See, any which ways, India have picked a side that is, based on, that's basically, more of a white ball side. So, any which ways, 2 days might just be enough to have a result.
I don't know. I think this kind of pitch is
going either way.
Yeah. Priyanshu is saying day 2 and 3 have good weather. Day 4 and 5 have heavy rain forecast.
Yeah.
It's a decent batting wicket. Today, rain helped India's Aussies had played out Bumrah without any loss. Akash looked the best. I think the rain didn't help anybody. Honestly. Yes, you can get rest. You didn't have any kind of a thing. But I think this rain today didn't help any team in that sense. Saurav Sen is saying, Harshit Rana is a one-dimensional bowler with limited skill and experience. He doesn't know how to control runs and how many attacking balls he has.
Yeah. Like we've been mentioning this quite a few times here on Sports Today as well, that he's very one-dimensional. I think he's more about, just pitching the ball short. He's like everyone, like Gulati sir also says, he's just hit the deck bowler. But as soon as that plan doesn't work, that's exactly what we saw in Perth. As soon as he tries to go full outside off stump, he's taken to the cleaners like he was by Travis Head. So as soon as that plan doesn't work, he has nothing to fall back on. And that, I think, backfired on him earlier also. Perth, definitely he did well, but again, nothing much.
Yeah, I mean, see, Harshit, like how the spinners are getting each game. Washi in Perth, Ashwin in Adelaide, here Jaddu in Brisbane.
Yeah.
Looking at this musical chairs, I don't know, even in the musical chairs is there. When we made our playing 11s, it was mostly in the bowling department only that you are going to get changes, not in the batting.
And he's not even quick. So even if he if
Yeah, he did touch
that
142, yeah.
if that plan isn't working, then also he did touch 142, but on a consistent basis he's 130, 35.
130, 135. Yep.
Labus Kakne.
Yeah, Labus
Same
Kagne, but you're
pace.
not counting Labus Kagne as a bowler. So, yep. And you will open with Akash because he didn't complete his overs. So, you're opening with him and you're opening with Bumrah. I think Bumrah is getting a fresh start tomorrow as well. Neeraj Singhvi is not happy though. And he's saying, Harmanpreet Kaur again made captain for West Indies tour. How long will she be given the rope? Given India were thrashed 3-0 in Australia and she's also not performing with the bat.
I think you're not going to make any changes until the end of the 2025 ODI World Cup.
But I think India are in danger of not qualifying for the ODI World Cup. Because if you look at it, you have...
India are the host of it, Vishay.
No, but aren't you hosting the T20 World Cup?
No, you are the host of the 2025 ODI World Cup. Yeah,
Thank goodness.
So any which ways you will qualify.
Just on points, just on points alone, you're not qualifying. Just on points. You're just the host.
The T20 is 2027, right? 2027,
Yeah,
the T20.
Yeah. Luckily, you're the host, you're qualifying. Otherwise, just on points alone, you're not qualifying. That's how the
You
situation
already
is.
lost to... see,
You
did-
lost 3-0 to Australia.
Yes, you did defeat England, but then I think you lost to
You
Australia.
lost to Australia. You lost...
New Zealand?
New Zealand, you won 2-1.
You won, yeah, 2-1.
You won 2-1,
Yeah, yeah.
so that's why. Danush is saying, just 2 tests,
Jacob Bethel.
Jacob Ethel, more overseas 100 than Gill in Sena. But, Gill, yes, he's played a lot more.
But he's gotten 90s and...
Yeah, he got a
Gill-
91 in Brisbane.
Gill didn't really do well in the South African conditions, but I think overall second innings Gill has been pretty good in 2024.
Yeah, let's see. But he's not gotten 100 outside of Asia.
Yeah.
It's been 5 years. So that's why. What would you all said if Oz bowled first and we batted well? Would you all said Oz are fearing of their batting? But Sarat Chandra, this question can't be addressed because India are bowling. Australia aren't batting first. So, anyways, if Australia would have batted for Oz bowled first and we batted well, then I would have said, see, we have said nothing helped. No...
we would have appreciated the Indian batting that they have negotiated the tough hour.
You got your answer. You really got your answer in that sense. So, off the mark with Sanjay. Wow. 5 of the last 6 games have been won by the team bowling first at the Gaba. But there are certain things, pitch conditions were different, situations were different. So, that is why I don't think these stats now are meant to be looked at very deeply. For example, 2 matches that Australia have lost at the Gaba have happened post-Christmas. But then that was the situation at that time. Now here, the last time a bowling team won was 1985. Jeremy Coney's New Zealand, and where Richard Hadley took 9 for 85 and
Yes.
14 wickets in Gaba, where he destroyed 9 for 52. Sorry, he took Richard Hadley of all guys. So stats are meant to be taken with a different pinch of salt altogether. And looking at the situation, if it's a draw, then are you going
Navjot
to
Singh
say,
Sidhu says.
then are you going to say this is your first draw at the Gaba after 21 years? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. So that's the way we are looking at it. And any other, we'll take one last comment. And after that, we'll call it quits. Yeah. Vaibhav Taragi. Khwaja and Sweeney looked catchy, but somehow survived. Aussies might be on slight advantage today. If they bat full day tomorrow, then we would be in trouble as 275 is a good first innings
Absolutely.
score.
No, I don't think they looked catchy. I think they looked pretty comfortable.
They negotiated they looked okay.
Yeah, Khwaja was very comfortable, and I also...
Sweeney, third test.
Khwaja pulling in inside the first 3-4 overs is obviously an indication that he's comfortable.
All 3 tests.
I told you na, Khwaja is somebody I fear.
Yeah.
I mean, he was one of your top batters prior to the series in the BGT. The only
And
top order
I'm
batter.
also very scared if they... I just hope this match, Australia doesn't get to bat the whole innings. You just sort of, there is rain all throughout. But Steve Smith, I think law of averages will catch up and he will get runs.
I don't expect Steve Smith
Although
I do. He's
although
a
he's
man
got
of the big
great record
matches.
at the Gaba.
Yeah.
Somewhere down there, that might also catch up with Steve Smith. See, because when he was not having a good run,
He's a
score
man
good
of big
century
occasions.
against England.
Yeah.
17.
Lots.
17.
17.
I'm talking in Australia.
Yeah.
Gaba is the venue that suits Steve Smith. But I think, like Virat Kohli, even his downfall is, he's in the middle of a downfall.
But Virat got you a century, na? So even Smith is due one.
But again, Virat, look at the centuries, 2 in the space of 5 years. If you look at it, 3 in the space of 5 years. But Smith, 2024, he's in the start of it. He's been woeful.
Yeah.
Let's be very honest about it. So
Averaging less than 25.
The mightier they are, the bigger they fall. That is how I will say when it comes to today. The Fab Four again. Look at Kane Williamson.
Oh,
Kicked before wicket.
comical dismissal.
Kicked before wicket. So we'll be doing a video on that. It will be up soon. So Kane Williamson kicked before wicket. And it's the final test for Tim Southee. So let's see. He
Set
could
it back.
create a new record if he bats the second time. He just needs 2 more. 98. He's level with Chris Gale on sixes in test matches.
The more New Zealand lose to England, the more I feel disappointed about India losing to New Zealand at home. With due respect to the quality that New Zealand team has, but the kind of spinners or the team that they had in the Indian conditions, it actually disappoints me to an extent that I always think that India should have won. India should have won with all due respect to them.
But why don't you forget? You yourself tell me, would you want the World Cup or bilateral series?
World Cup.
Just you got that. That's what we used to say till the time we didn't win the World Cup.
See, I understand.
You can't get everything,
I
Rishi.
said it
Mulati,
yesterday
sir.
also that I will take a series win against Australia
And
over a World Cup.
New
So I
Zealand
think
will
that's
take-
also a generational thing because I would have taken a World Cup any day.
This is a typical, if you say an England team mentality. England team,
No, but also
if we win
because
the action, we don't mind if the World Cup is not ours. Now when the World Cup is ours, no, that is also important. This is also there.
Even Cummins said,
Yeah.
after winning the WTC final, we are more focused on the Ashes.
Exactly.
It's just a one-off test for them. They were playing.
Yeah. It's a very, this Western concept that, we'll have a bilateral is much more important because there is high stakes, ego and all those other things.
I would have taken the World Cup any day.
But
I would never do that. See, for me, it's as simple as that. 2 BGT wins, 2 successive BGT wins, I would take it on any given day. And if you can somehow make it 3 times in a row, I said it earlier also, and I'm going to say this again. It is going to be the greatest cricketing moment of our life. Greatest.
No.
If you make it 3 times in a row. Hands down.
your peak was GABA 2021. Nothing can top that. Okay. As far as Indian cricket movement is concerned, with the situation that was there, with the team that you had no business winning. You won. That was the ultimate peak that you had scaled as a cricketing nation.
With a C team.
With a C team.
One of the defining moments of Indian cricket.
You defeated an Australia A team.
But nothing will whitewash November 19th.
Oh.
Let's be very honest about it. Until 2027, when one of the stalwarts lifts that cup, you are not whitewashing it. So June 29th was a plaster over a big wound. It was just a small bandage. But yes, a World Cup win is a World Cup win.
Then a
You have to
small
acknowledge
bandage,
that.
Rishi, sir.
A World Cup win over all nations in different circumstances is a World Cup win.
I just saw the highlights yesterday only.
Of what?
Night.
Of what?
29th.
That's all. Gentlemen, no 19th November talk.
No, 29 June I saw.
29th June.
That day is off my calendar. Saransh. Yeah, it is.
See, now every day 5:20 it will start. And tomorrow the rain isn't that much.
And we'll
There'll
join
be a
you guys for the
46%.
post-match show directly until and unless there's an innings break or...
Yeah. So what we will do is, this is the drill. We'll be joining you for the post-match where you'll have an intense discussion. Barring if Australia are bowled out for a very low score, somebody's taken a 5-wicket haul, someone scores a century, we'll do a short live on that. But all our focus will be on the post-match.
Post-day.
And then if we have all the action that is there, dugout will also follow with the normal time also.
Yeah.
Yes, so that is the way we are looking at it. So yes, next 4 days is high octane drama provided the rain gods allow. But yeah, day 4 and day 5 not looking good. Day 2, day 3 onwards, half an hour prior you will start, half an hour extension for the final day also. Okay, final session rather. Okay. So from me, Gulati and Shashwat and also Saransh, it is bye-bye. Subscribe to Sports Today for all the latest news and analysis. Tap that bell icon, like this video, share it with your friends. And Nandri, Vanakkam, Shubhratri, whatever, Shubhratri when it happens.
Eat your vegetables and don't travel your mother.
No,
Bye.
that is later.
We are
Lots more
joining-
exciting
Lots
content
more are
coming your
coming.
way.
Lots more content is coming up. So we'll hold on to Shubhratri now because we woke up in the morning and time is totally gone. Okay.
That was only Ratri for me.
Yeah. Okay.
I was going to sleep after that.
Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye.